Hi, welcome back to Fall CS170. We're looking at VLOOKUPs in Excel right now. So last lecture, we covered wildcards, which if you remember is here. The slides are uploaded, so you can take a look at the slides for this. So here's the VLOOKUP. And what you see here basically is what you see when you look at the help in Excel for how VLOOKUPs work. So you look at VLOOKUP, it's kind of basically like a table, and then you're indexing that table by something to look it up, right? So for example, if you have something that maybe you're collecting a group of words and they're all bucketed by alphabetical order. So you have a bucket for A and B and C and D and so on and so forth. Or you can have things like numbers, right? And you can have like ranges of numbers, right? Essentially. And then within that, you'll have different values and you'll kind of look it up. So that's why it's called like a VLOOKUP, okay? So this right here is basically the description that you would get if you were looking for help on Excel, and you would see how the VLOOKUP works. So this here in red is a key point here. So if you create like a VLOOKUP table, the values that you're searching on have to be sorted, right? Low to high, okay? And I'll do a demonstration of this in a second. So here's something here, right? So what is this actually doing, right? So you can see down here, you have all of the different values of like what's in the inventory. Okay, so these are all the trees and whatnot, right? And of course, these are all the quantities and whatever, right? But here you can see there's an item number, right? This column B here, right, has item numbers here. So what you're trying to do is saying, well, okay, if I put in this item into this B11, so up here is kind of like a zoom on that, right? What that VLOOKUP would look like. So basically you're saying, oh, I'm going to punch in like an item number here, and then it's going to try to find it within here, right? In this case, they put in 23688, which you can see it's down here, 23688. And then here's the artist flowering. So what does that VLOOKUP look like? Well, in this case, you're saying, well, what am I looking for? This is B11, right? So that's 23688. And then where's the table that I'm searching for that? So in this case, you can see it's B14, which starts right here at the top of this table. This is the first item. And then it goes down to C42. So that's column C here. And you can't really see it too well, but it goes all the way down here. It kind of cuts off here at the end. But basically, you can say it goes down to row 42. So that's your table that you're looking at. And then this next one, this 2, is basically saying, well, what value are you returning? Are you returning 1 or 2 in terms of the column, right? In this case, you want the second column because that's the one that has the tree name here. B is column 1, C is column 2. Okay. And then this last one where it says true, it's whether you want exact match or you want the approximate match. And I'll kind of get into that in a second when I demonstrate how that part works, right? But in this case, you're looking for a specific item number. So you want that to be true, right? So you'll get the exact entry here, not like an approximate one. Okay, and so that's how you get this artist flowering as your return here. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demonstration of how VLOOKUP works, and then I'll cut that before we step into a PMT function. Okay, so one of the common things that I like to demonstrate with the VLOOKUP is something like, getting a discount on something, right? So typically you order something, right? And for the sake of argument, I'm going to say this is quantity, and this is the discount. So kind of doesn't matter, but whatever it is, you order something, and in this case, if I only order one of that, I probably don't want to give any discount. I'm going to charge the full retail price. So it's 0, okay? But let's say I order 5 of something, then maybe I want to give a 10% discount. And let me just make this percentage here. So that's a 10% discount. Let's say I order 50 of these, then maybe I want to give 15% discount. And this, just while I'm on this, maybe I'll just refer back to an old lecture where we were talking about in Excel, you store like whatever percentages you want of something, it's in the point, whatever. In this case, I'm saying 0.15, right? But if you want to display it as a percentage, you can do that. So it's a big mistake that a lot of people make is they think, oh, it's 15%. So I'm going to type 15 and then the percentage sign. Excel is not going to work with that as a 0.15, right? So Excel thinks of it as 0.15, not as what you see on the screen, which is 15%. 15%, that's really just a display for you, right? So when you input this and you want to do some calculations of it, you have to put it as 0.15, okay? Don't put it in as 15 percentage. And that should be good enough for what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to have an input quantity here. And I'm going to do my lookup here to say what is the discount. Okay, and so let's just start off with a 1 here. I'm going to order 1 of whatever. Okay, and then I'm going to do a VLOOKUP. So just like all our other functions, the minute I start typing VLOOKUP, you already get some help here. It starts to pull it up. So I can double click on it. Now it says, what is the lookup value, right? So in this case, my lookup value is 1, right? So it's in F16. So I'm going to click on that, or I could have typed in F16. And then what is the array that I'm looking at? I'm looking at this array right here. Okay. And then what is the column that I want? Well, I want to get the discount to come back. So I want column 2, right? So I'm going to put in 2. And then here's the last thing. Do I want approximate match or exact match? Okay. So actually now I'm looking at this. I probably didn't want to have the true in the tree lookup. I want the exact item number, but maybe it kind of doesn't matter in this case. But in this case, I do want the approximate match. So I want to type in true like that. Okay, so that works, right? Because I have an input quantity of 1, and then it becomes 0 because I don't get a discount if I only order 1 thing. So if I order 4 things, I still don't get a discount. Now I get a 10% list discount. Let me change this to a percentage. Boom. This is what we mean by approximate match, right? You can see on my table here, I don't have a 6, right? But because I put in a 6 and the last good value I had was 5, getting a 10% discount, that's what it returns, right? It doesn't go to the higher one, it goes to the lower one. So if I go into here and this is why it's important that the this key here is ordered. And so while it does that, it goes down 1 by 1, it looks and says, oh, it's not 5. So let me go to the next one. It goes and it's 50, which is greater than 6. It says, okay, 6 doesn't exist in this table. I'm going to go to the one that is the last good one that I found, which is 5. Okay. And so that's why I came back with 10%. So what happens if I go to 50? Right. Obviously, they came back with 15%. And then if I go to 51, I fell off the end of the table. And it knows that, right? It knows that there's nothing else here. So it will always just come back with 15% as I keep on going higher. All right, so that's how approximate match works on VLOOKUP. Okay, So take a look at that, see if you understand that concept, see if you can kind of create something like this for yourself as for practice. And you can send that to me on your extra credit. Okay, it doesn't have to be a fancy thing, but you can do some variation of what I just did. It's a pretty standard VLOOKUP type of thing. Um, you can play around with it and see if you want to be creative on what you want to do with your lookup, but it should be fairly simple to do this. Okay. All right.